So this won't be so much a channel update. It'll be actually kind of a just my free writing thoughts per se. I do have a title for this video. If I do, I didn't want to force this title too much, but it could actually be something like along the lines of uh, gauging to see how actions work. Basically, that could be the title of this video if it's an update or if it's a other free write speaking. So, anyways, a few things I can update. I might change the channel name again. One more time. I might change the channel name. There is actually one other video that exists I haven't uploaded yet on either channel or either of the 3 channels. Whether that's too many channels or not, I still thought it was. I still thought that was never too many channels, but because it was like before I maintained one channel, people thought I had like 6,000 or 600. I was like, no, come on. I don't make too many channels. I just make them on accident. Before it was kind of like that at least. So it was like, I don't make channels on accident or on purpose, even to this day. But I just have the 3 channels so far concurrently speaking. Maybe at this point, whatever it happens to be useful for. I already know what they're worth, but that's how it's lately. So. But yeah, this one video that I uploaded before, the 45-minute one, that's still staying on my computer on this desktop PC. It's not uploaded on even digs, let alone March Car for Tony Cashman. So it's like it's sitting on my computer, 45 minutes. The 55 is already on Tony Cashman, or no, that's on digs. That's actually on digs. But the 45-minute one is still on computer, not even uploaded at all. So it's just like just sitting there, kind of collecting dust. But there was a reason why I did that. It was just for starters, there was a measure where I didn't want to have it claim something that I was actually going to do anyways. Like, there's parts of that video that talk about how I was going to do Claymation that week, or at least do a live stream talking about Claymation or talking about anything else, including the fact that I talked about Claymation in the 55-minute video that's on Digs. That would have happened that week anyways if I was, not even with the motivation. It was more like I just wanted to make sure I would try something to do certain other things I was already willing to do with Claymation and other projects, but at that point, if I wasn't going to upload the video at all, then it's kind of maybe self-assured that I wasn't going to do anything like that, like a commission related to the rest of the week. And technically that happened anyways. I wouldn't say that if I didn't upload the video, I wasn't doing any commission or anything related to it. Like if I did a claymation stream, but without uploading the 45-minute video talking about claymation. Because the 55 before that on Digs was about claymation. And half of it was. It was just, I keep smacking my lips. Holy crap, this is bothering me for the last minute or two. I'm going to just drink some water so I don't have to hear that shit. Let alone taste it. Damn. Damn, my irritability was going up really high. All of a sudden, obviously because I relapsed to NoFap for sure, but like, because I relapsed on a 3-day streak on Super Intention NoFap recently, so I just, there you go. But, you know, which I might mention in this video as well, but, you know. Kept smacking, man. That was getting on my nerves, man. I was actually smacking so often, like, this last minute or two. I was like, it just... Why? Just leave my mouth alone. and my headspace, I guess. But yeah, it's it was a 45-minute video talking about a little bit more about Claymation expanding from the 55 from last time. In this video, I talk about Claymation as well, but just that's what you have in store if you want. If I ever upload that on any of the channels I have right now. So 45 minutes in addition to this. So there you go. However long this is gonna be, but you know. Anyways, like the channel name, Tony Cashman. It was gonna change maybe one more time, and this is a bit of a lore going back into it. But Tony Cashman or Anthony Cashman, anything to that effect. My real name, if even as before a brand name, there's a whole lot goes into this lore, like the Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, whatever else there are things, livestream.com. Oh my gosh, that might be one now. Vimeo owns livestream.com now, or Loads Line Stream, that platform service is owned by Twitch. Is owned by Vimeo, and that's for other professional reasons, I guess you could say. But yeah, filmmaker, whatever. But I'll start with the beginning, though. The very beginning of my content creator experience was like I wanted to be a streamer first before I wanted to be a content creator. But I think what ended up happening was, and I wanted to be a photographer before I wanted to be a streamer. So I was like, I didn't do Instagram or Twitch, but they didn't exist yet at that time. Before 2013 to 14 happened. Or before 2011 and 2010 happened, I think it was like even along those lines. 2011 and forward, you get Twitch and Instagram over time, and it's like yeah, or 2013 for Instagram and then 2011 for Twitch, but or just .tv whatever, if that was in 2010 or 11. And you have these platforms that come out for live streaming and photography, and it's like okay fine, but I wanted to be a photographer and a live streamer, not a content creator, and particularly maybe not an animator. Although animator would have been more for streaming anyways. Back in 2010-11, back from when I was doing Good Evil 0. If you haven't heard comment on that lately, I haven't given enough content about that lately. Anyways, I'm sorry about that. But with Good Evil 0 or Claymation, other Claymation projects, I was very much starting off with the philosophy endeavors and missionary stuff. Not the other missionary, not the no fab suit kind of anti-missionary, whatever. We on that anti-PMO grind, or whatever keeps saying anti for. Sorry, it's hard to catch up what I'm saying right now, but I'll just keep talking fast. But I did essentially want to be a streamer first and a photography before that, and not a content creator. And that's when content creation happens to take place that early on. I do a showcase and a vlog in 2010, 2011, and from those two videos alone, there's a lot that goes into those videos, even though they're very short and weird. There, you could some people who make content starting off at the very beginning, whether that's a longest hiatus like I did between them, or I keep smacking on that. Holy crap! I might have to stop this video short just to fucking meditate a little bit. No, okay, but it's just you might be one of those people who do have their content, early content being kind of like cringy, or at least even totally cringy. I was never like that myself. I never hated my content before, not even when I started, and not even where I am right now with content. I just I saw it completely differently anyway. So I just but I was a person where I just happened to make YouTube videos, even though I already had the intention to be. It's very obvious from the very first video ever that I already knew what it was like to be a content creator, because I took it seriously enough to do that, like that. The showcase, but the prank clay modeling showcase with the characters and all that, the characters of clay modeling, claymation, they were very seriously well taken. But at the same time, I wasn't even trying to be content creator. I wasn't trying to be on YouTube at the same time for some reason. So it's an amalgam of not wanting to be on YouTube yet, but still know how to be content creator full stop. So not full time, but not whatever. But there's a long story goes between whether I would have been a hobbyist or a full-time YouTuber. And I'm right in between. I don't want to be a full-time YouTuber. I don't want to be a hobbyist either. It's weird. For me, it is a little weird. Maybe there's relatable for some people, but yeah. So, I happened to make those two videos a long time ago. There's a long hiatus between that and even VidMe on 2017. And then content creation in 2018 forward, I guess you could say. But I didn't want to actually be a YouTuber, and I wanted to be a streamer, like maybe on Twitch, or a photographer, like maybe on Instagram, not content on YouTube. And so, but what happens with me in YouTube in the first place is that whether or not I actually wanted to actually do YouTube, I happened to be there in the first place. And so that's with the identity of my name, like Anthony Cashman, Tony Cashman, the identity of my own name as a channel name. It was either why I actually wanted a long time ago, ever since 2010, 2011, or 2018 forwards. It was either why I actually already wanted for myself, or it was resembling a representation of what I wanted for myself. So maybe I didn't necessarily want my real name to be the channel name, but as long as I can remember, especially in 2018 forwards, when I didn't start with it right away, I did experiment with it a few times. I did type Anthony Cashman or Tony Cashman as a channel name, and then change it back like within a week, just to see if I wanted to do it. And I still wanted to do that, but I was still scared what people thought of me. There's a big gamut of what goes in that last sentence, particularly, like caring too much what people think of me, into what came with content creation on YouTube, and etc. So it's like but essentially, I did want to have my real name reflected into what I was making, even if it wasn't the channel name. And if there was a brand name back then so be it. Like if Erity 10 or Halo Predator or Marsh Scarf or Playstriker 32 or Razor Recon or Brutal Bishop, even Jesus. Any of those other names I came up with ever became brand names and instead usernames, and now thing. But if I ever knew what I came up as a brand name back then, for a YouTube content creation lifestyle, then, or even YouTubing, like commuting versus creation or whatever, commuting versus content creator, whatever, content creator. But basically, it was like that. I think I knew. Definitely since 2018 and maybe since 2010 to 11 that I wanted my real name to be relevant to my channel stuff. So what we have right now is my real name as the channel name, and what might change into later on. I'll explain one more thing about the lore. Is that even if I didn't want to come up with the brand names for the channel name, the real name was actually probably going to be the channel name anyways if I was brave enough. But I never got to do that. I don't regret that though. I just that's the case. That was the thing. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do it back then, if I was going to take the accountability for that, and I probably would have, because that's deep down why I actually want it for myself. But yeah, enough with the lore for now. But yeah, the channel name right now is indeed Tony Cashman, and if it changed again, it would reflect the brand signaling, like what maybe Al Crossman did, and Dr. Anthony Ryan Cashman and Tony Cashman Insightful did for the last few months and years. If it did change one more time, it would either reflect their brand naming identity, which identity is weird. Robert Blake goes into a little bit about identity, but people talk about content creators and entertainers and all that, and is YouTube an identity or a brand or whatever, or like, because they say that YouTube is a identity, content creation is a brand or whatever, or vice versa. I freaking forget what it was. It's like being a being a YouTuber is an identity, being a content creator is a brand. Yeah, I'd say like that, but yeah. But with Diggs, when I made Dear Single Ghost Spinner, the second channel of the three, that was to be a commuter and a creator at the same time, and people still told me to be a content creator back then. I was like, what the hell? I don't want to be a content I don't want to be a serious or even non-selfish even per se on a channel where I was intentionally being that 50% of the time just to get the other 50% for commuting being the YouTubing that I never got to do before in the first place, which ironically speaking, if even unironically, what the hell else, if I was to even do commuting in the first place as if it was the first time, I should have just done it the entire time anyways if it was that late to be a YouTuber commuter. Like Lambdog76, some of the people who are in the communities where they don't have to worry about being content creators, because that actually makes them feel good about themselves, and it even is a very good thing anyways. It's very peaceful. It's actually worth it if you've never done it before, which is kind of sad if you've never done it before, like me. But like, but being a half commuter, half creator was a bit of its own compromise. It was willing to, if anything, it was a creative experiment. It worked out for Diggs so far to be half a commuter, half a content creator. But people who are pushing to be a content creator only or be commuter only, there are reasons for both. There's like, it goes into anything else, but like, if you've never worked commuter before, definitely try to be commuter if you could, so you have the peace of mind. But if you want to be able to take content creation seriously, obviously, then content creator perspective, if even 100% of the time, is also ideal. But it's complicated in my opinion. But you know, with me, and then Marshcraft was the memes and politics channel, and even some other hidden projects. But yeah, Marshcraft third channel, the three. With Tony Cashman, first of the three, is like, yeah, it will change the channel name one more time. I'm only talking about this a little more for over 12 minutes for a reason, including talking about my smacking, which thank gosh I left for a while. Hopefully I'm not gonna jinx that. Smackety smack smack. My lips will go on a whack. Nah. I'll explain a bit what I think the channel name will change into. I thought it was gonna change into this one thing I wished for on my birthday last March. Should I even say like that? Or should I even say that at all? Because telling people about your birthday wishes, man, not gonna come true. But I'll tell them you guys anyway, so I don't think it's like, it's not that I don't think it didn't fulfill itself. It's just based on what the wish actually was versus what I'm saying right now. But it's just like but I think the wish did come true. It's just in a different way. But I'll talk about it anyways. The channel name could become something called Mighty Wiry. So that's either Mighty Wire or Mighty Wiry. I don't think I should word that out or spell it out. I don't think I should have to spell it out. I would anyways, just because I want to. I'd love to, but I think that explains itself. What I just said is Mighty Wiry or Mighty Wire with dashes, and basically that would be like that. That was the idea of a small organization, like a ranch and radio organization, you know, kind of thing. Ranch and radio. And Zoomer Touch, not asking. It's like or Rally Point. No, it was Ranch Radio and Rally Point station, whatever, organization. So basically, the idea of that channel, there's a whole like a lot that goes into that small business idea in itself. But like with the idea of the channel name, if that was the channel name, if Mighty Wiry or Mighty Wire was the channel name, it would reflect a few things. It would reflect my birthday wish for one thing, which was to own my own ranch. And it wasn't that didn't come true, it came true in a different way. Like, not a literal way, but, you know, hopefully you guys get what I mean by that. But yeah, if Mighty Wiry became the channel name, it would be nice for a while. I might get old too soon, unfortunately, but it would be a good one. It's a good channel name if I did that. It's still Tony Cashman right now as I'm making this video, so, you know, filming this, recording. But unfortunately, it might not be the channel name for even more than a month if I do that, because I might get old on that idea. Even though that was my birthday wish, owning a branch called Mighty Wiry. It's still good old for a few reasons, both personal and public. I guess I could talk about both of them, but just because I'm that kind of person who says that stuff and still talks with a different philosophical perspective. So there you go. However, people are gonna say about that, but yeah. But the channel name does look into another change, abstractly looking into the idea of what I just explained the last 12 minutes or 15 minutes, which was the idea that the channel name, the word I was talking about earlier, which is that's why I explained it, was because the idea that I didn't want to be a creator or even have anything to do with YouTube right away as soon as I did, whether it was too soon or too early, whether it was too soon or too late to be a creator, whatever that's supposed to mean for me, whatever I'm trying to explain. But essentially, with whether I was using my real name or a brand identity, the channel name was looking into something basically, it was generally looking to something like reflecting who I was. And that sounds simple, but when you look at things like my real name, Tony Cashman, or Anthony Cashman, and when you look at the brand identities I came up with before, or even usernames for that matter, not necessarily brand identities, I may have not made it as made it, I couldn't do it right now, which would make sense, honestly, to me at least. But brand identities, I think I will look into that a little more, whether I overcomplicate that or not. But that's the fun way to do it, is overcomplicate it, be creative, I guess. If creativity is overcomplicated itself, then I guess I can do that anyways. As per suggested by that idea, by that belief. But Mighty Wiry would be one idea. Going back to Tony Cashman and Cypher would be weird. It'd be a little too corny and cryptical, even a little sad actually. To go back to that one. Going back to Dr. ABC would be weird. Going back to Craftsman would just be a damn shame. Because that would look like I'm running away from something. Some people won't even believe that, but I'll realize that a little bit myself, honestly. But, yeah. Mighty Wiry. If it's not Mighty Wiry, it could be another Tony Cashman rebranding, but I already did it with Insightful and Dr. ABC, so it's like, whatever else. TC the Insightful, but TCI. But it would be a brand identity that could reflect my real name again. It could reflect other things, but it doesn't have to be deep, it doesn't have to be complicated, but I want to be able to those things anyways, hopefully. So that tells you enough, that tells you too much about what I don't know about the channel name would be, so we'll Mighty Wiry it is now. Maybe it'll be something else. I'll think of something else. So hopefully, maybe we'll try something else, or we could just try Mighty Wiry and see where it goes from there. Mighty Wiry, yeah, Mighty Wiry, yeah, maybe just Mighty Wiry. Okay, we'll try that a little bit. If it even lasts a month long, and I change it to something a little better as a brand identity, whether it's final or not. Tony Cashman wouldn't have to be final. It was just one more change after Tony Cashman Insightful that I promised I would make. So maybe that wasn't have to be in final, but yeah. So that's what the channel name, consensual stuff, whatever, consensual, for the current 18 minutes of this video, talking about the channel name other than lore about the content creation journey. That could actually do for now, but if I did want to keep talking, I would talk a little bit about Claymation too, as I may have suggested. My foot almost broke. May have suggested Claymation. There's a lot going into this stuff. I had more sympathy for even just thinking about the things that happened lately than even when I was doing with the last 4 weeks of my hiatus on YouTube. If I even could make the up with this video, Jesus Christ. I'll put the 45-minute ones if I can though. But yeah, with content creation and Claymation, as I just talked about digs and the commuting lifestyle, I'll try commuting even on this channel if I am ever daring going to. I don't want to have to say dare, because why do I want to dare being a commuter and a YouTuber, and as compared to a content creator and a quality content person? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I still give quality content a bad rap, but that's just me though. That's just how I see it. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I could try to understand people better for that one, but just anybody really. But you know, but with the first 4 weeks on my hiatus, where I would have considered for either Claymation main niche stuff or even other content I make going forwards, or even actual vlogging, whether that's seen as commuting or create content or whatever. Vlogging could very well be both of those things. Is commuting and creation, and so just but I think I still would go with abstract philosophy vlogging at this point. Not to dismiss Claymation, not to quit Claymation, not to throw it under the rug too much, even if I still make it, you know. As I technically kind of did with Dancing Colors of Fire, unfortunately. But Dancing Colors of Fire was still pretty good. But it was obvious I was tapering off Claymation for some awkward, depressing reason. And maybe not trying to bring it back as much, even though that was still an effort to bring it back in the first place in some form, which was good in itself. But 5 short claymation films in one piece, in project. Claymation, I think it's gonna come back. I think it just needs more time on my part. Because if I still think about things like abstract philosophy vlogging and deep docs and shit like that, and other projects, then yeah, of course it will. And no fucking student attention. Of course it will come back at some point. Claymation, it'll come back. I just need more time to think these things through. It's like, again, with the bad rap, I give quality content creation. It's like, yeah, I give those a bad rap because of my depressing experiences in life, story stuff. Yeah, pretty much that stuff. Yeah, it's just like life story stuff. It's a really awkward situation where I'm found between people who only care about the effectiveness of my content or the content itself, and maybe not so much for me. I'm pretty sure there are some of you who are not just here for me, but also for the content. That would be the best way to go about it, honestly. Not just being here for being here either for me or for the content, but for both. That would be the best experience, in my opinion. If that's not sounding selfish, I guess, for even wanting the content. Because at least I would be non-selfish for giving you content in the first place. But yeah, is that something to have an ego about? Is that possible to have an ego for? Contrary perspectives? Well, okay. The claymation I would probably produce at this point is either going to be less likely to be for, again, as I mentioned over the many years, Project Tether. Oh my gosh, how many times have I mentioned that before? But yeah, seriously, like with the Pale Hatchet character, as I'm developing her in my mind and daydreaming, and also thinking about actually bringing her as a character into the story, if not as a protagonist, villainess or whatever else. If Pale Hatchet does come out in a Project Tether as a claymation series, and that's how I might go about doing it, is like sculpting her for an armature figure and a clay prop, and then animate her a little bit, and then see where that goes. But yeah, Project Tether was the original series for Project Tether was the main idea, central idea. One of the more self-confessingly, admittingly longer term projects of my creation work and projects. It's not the most longest term thing I can think of, but it's one of the longer term. I don't want to call it long term because of my experience with people who said that about dating relationships in the first place, romance, all that, because Piscean, and also ego boosting. Now, okay, whatever. There's a long string I can go about that later on. If you want to see the video, dating as a purpose, or that was an older video, but there's also a recent one called what I think about women valuing men on their purpose or something like that, or men who work or something like that. It was one of those videos. I don't know if those are the right titles, but yeah, something like that about romance and dating. But with claymation, and by the way, Project Tether is about romance and adventure. So whatever. Those are the genres of Project Tether. Is like romance and adventure, because Pale will actually date people in that story, even if she's gonna manifest her person in any ways, or even be single the whole time, and embracing singlehood, I guess. Whatever I'm actually giving a person to do. The thoughts and beliefs I give her don't have to even be mine, let alone her actions and decisions in the story. So if she's based on me, which I think she is, Pale doesn't have to do anything related to what I do in my own life. She can make her own decisions. I'm not saying that to be like her creator and fatherhood, the crap out of that, however creepy that sounds, but But yeah, claymation for Project Tether, claymation for music OSTs. Music OSTs covers. I may have forgotten the last topic I was talking about earlier, but it's okay. I'll get that later. If I need to, I'll come back to it. More claymations like you've seen, like the Dancing Colors of Fire, like just smaller projects. Oh, and long term. The one thing about long term is that I don't like saying long term, but it's like but that long term for Project Tether would mean at least the next few months for whatever pilot I make. But yeah, basically, yeah. Going back to that point, I'll go back to this. Okay. So yeah, Project Tether, claymation music covers for any existing song or my songs, either one or and then more claymations like Dancing Colors of Fire, so those are short films like before, tributes and fan made parodies and whatever else like I've done before with SCP, Secret Laboratory, Hat in Time, Plants vs Zombies, other ones, etc. Collaborations, you bet if I'll do more collaborations in the future if I haven't been pressing on it before. And I also hesitated on collaboration before, but it was another story. It was like because I hesitated on that one because I was actually unsure if I would actually do it, which was understandable. and people work with that honestly. So it's better to end the Claymation if you know you can't do it than if you procrastinate the whole time, which I did the very first Claymation I ever did with another creator. We never got to finish that. We just ended in there. So between those two experiences, yeah, it's better, a little better in my opinion, than the Claymation if you can fall through. If you know you can't fall through, it's okay to make that decision. It really is. But collaborations, sponsorships maybe. What the fuck? How that work? And then we look into other deals stuff. Not necessarily sponsorships in that regard, but that's how it would. Wherever I offer other people the commissions for other people. I hate saying commissions for other personal reasons. I'll talk about that later if I need to, if I should want to. But it's like commissions for people on either Patreon or in other aspects of life. Unfortunately, those will also include private commissions, like I did for Marchcraft. And yeah, it's something like that. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that Claymation will not go away anytime soon. That's a quite a bold, facetious cliche I could throw out there, but there you go. It won't go away too soon. I think I'm not gonna quit YouTube either. And this, I wish I didn't have to clarify that, but with Claymation being on YouTube, anyways, that seems to be like a let alone a given kind of thing, but it doesn't have to be one. So I guess basically, yeah, I don't quit YouTube. I don't quit Claymation for now, and I'm not gonna promise that, but I know I mean that. So at least I mean that. But I hope I could promise it someday. But if I don't right now, but if it promises right now would make a difference, then yeah, hopefully. But and some of the Claymations I could get more specific about. I'm gonna need those armature prop model things, the armature like the puppeteer things that you can metal. I'm not good with examples. I don't say it to be negative, but I'm not necessarily good with examples. I express that weakness to be truthful, you know. But the metal armature props that are like 6 inches long. See, I'm not even accurate with that, and I'm trying to make an example. Like, but yeah, those little armature figures. I need some of those. At least one for Pale Hatchet if I want. Maybe for Pale Hatchet. Otherwise, I just keep using copper wire. Stop motion software that executes stop motion. Maybe if I'm not being too creepy about that. More clays, like maybe hopefully new plast. I may have talked about that in the 45-minute video or the 55-minute video, but yeah. So or something like that. That's with Claymation at least. That's with Claymation. So yeah, we talked a bit about the channel name, the lore, the content creation journey, Claymation. Right, well, we quit right away. Don't mind me, gonna pick my ear in a 30-minute lapsed video almost. Yeah. Haters gonna equate. Yo. Nah, equator. Okay, and there are two props on here, by the way. There's like a Wind Waker prop from Nico the Pirate, and there's the Shao House prop, Kate from that anime. In the game, respectively for Nico. So they're right here. The only problem with Kate's prop right now is that she has parts of her arms and legs broken off, which I can say for a tutorial if I want to. I was gonna actually record a video like this and make a tutorial right in between without editing anything, just putting a tutorial talking about the prop and teaching a tutorial right in the middle of a video talking about other things in the meantime. So it's like maybe a vlog and 5 minutes in between, like 30 minutes, like this one. I just randomly talk about the Claymation tutorial. That's kind of like an anti-quality content kind of campaign at that point, anti-content creator kind of thing, because it's like because you know my jabs at that kind of thing, like how I poke fun at that and be like have a bit of a bad rap thing, unfortunately, as I keep talking about, which has good raps every once in a while. It does. Like I do love quality content, but just content creation, but just it's in my own way at that point, I think. But if I have to say that, but the tutorial that this would have been about at this point, if I did a tutorial like 10 minutes ago, it would have been about the Kate prop in the Shaw's house. I would have just picked it up like this and talked about how to how to remember how you put the armature in the props, especially when sculpting more props of identical size or etc. How to remember what you put in the armature so that you can resculpt it better. It's sculpted the props, I guess. At least for those examples. But just if that appears in the audio, my god, that happens for like 20 seconds, or not more than 20 seconds at all. But yeah, this is probably gonna be the end of the video. I'm just gonna showcase these props for whoever's an OG watches the whole video or watches only the end of the video, just to see this shit. But in the scroll wheel. But yeah, take care, everyone. That was just my hiatus breaker for the last 4 weeks plus. I hope everyone's doing okay. I'll make more videos like this, either for abstract philosophy vlogging or for claymation, whichever one you're looking for, or even for live streaming, even for the secret stream. I'm gonna talk about that in a second later. So see you guys. I'll put in this video.